Welcome to lesson 58 of our school year. We're looking at customary length and weight. Pages 65 and 66. Inverted those numbers. All right, so we are looking at our customary. So we looked at metric units, now we're looking at customary units. Content objective for 4th grade, MD, measurement data, A1. I can show that I know the relative size of measurement units within a single system. So we're now looking at a different system. We looked at the metric system, now we're going to look at the customary system. Language objective, I can use vocabulary related to the customary system to describe which unit would be best to measure different objects. Social objective, I can work with others to identify which unit of measure would be best to measure different objects. So the customary system. We already did the metric system. Customary system is the standard system of measurement used in the United States for our length, weight, capacity, volume, area, and temperature. The United States and just about 1 or 2 other countries use customary. Most of the rest of the world uses metric. We use metric in science and especially science and medicine and those industries, but in construction and many other things we use our customary system. But if you go outside the United States, there's only 1 or 2 other countries that use a customary system. So we're going to look at our length. We've already talked about length. And so our units of length in our customary system, we look at half inch, a unit of measure of length in the U.S. customary system. 2 half inches is equal to 1 inch. An inch is a unit of measure of length in the U.S. customary system. 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. A foot is a unit of measure of length in the U.S. customary system equal to 12 inches. A yard, a unit of measure of length in the U.S. customary system equal to 3 feet. And then a mile, a unit of measure of length in the U.S. customary system. The land mile is equivalent to 5,280 feet. We're also going to look at weight or mass, but in the customary system it usually has to do with weight. Amount of heaviness or mass that an object has. How heavy is that? It has a lot to do with gravitational pull. To measure that, we use a scale usually. That's a tool for the measuring or weighing of objects. We have 3 units. There actually are other units that are used within the English system, which is where we got the customary system, even though they usually use metric. There are some of these that we don't have that they use, like stones and things like that. But we use ounces, pounds, and tons. Ounce is, and we use the letters OZ for ounce. A U.S. customary unit of measure of mass or weight. 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound. A pound is a unit of measure of weight in the U.S. customary system equal to 16 ounces. We use lb for pound, and that actually has to do with the Latin form that goes along with pound. There's something before the word, and so they use lb as the abbreviation, even though no L or B is in the word pound. When you see lb, it's talking about pound. And then ton. Some people talk about having a ton of work or a ton of emails, but that's not accurate because ton has to do with a weight, and I don't think there's a weight of emails. So that wouldn't be an accurate unit of measure. A ton a unit of measure of weight in the U.S. customary system equal to 2,000 pounds. It's not likely that there are 2,000 pounds of emails. Okay. So we're going to look at our length first. 12 inches is 1 foot. 1 yard is 3 feet. Or 36 inches. 3 times 12 is 36. 1 mile is 1,760 yards. Or 5,280 feet. Now we're going to think of things to help us imagine these different lengths. So an inch is about the length of a small paper clip. So that would be a small paper clip. And what's kind of interesting is, especially as you get older, the distance from where your thumb joint is, where it bends, to the tip is about an inch. So you can actually use your thumb, the rule of thumb. You can use your thumb as a little ruler if need be, if it's a small unit, to measure an inch. A foot is about the length of an egg carton. So if you imagine that length, how big that is, that would be about a foot. A yard is about the height of a chair. And then a mile is 4 times around a track. Or if you see a football field and you see the rings around it, that's a track. 4 times going around that track would be a mile. Okay, so measuring with inches is exactly like measuring with centimeters, but inches are larger than centimeters. So here there will be fractional marks within there. We're only worried about the nearest inch right now, but you could get into fractional pieces because it shows where the half inch is, quarter inch, eighth of an inch. It shows those marks. So if you needed to be more accurate, you could be. So you always line up at 0, and then you look and see where it lines up at the end of it, which if we wanted to go to the nearest inch would be here. If we wanted to go to the fractional piece would be here. You could start at 1 and measure it out and then just subtract. Sometimes when it comes to construction and measuring tapes are messed up at the 0, they will start measuring at the 1. It's called burning an inch because their 0 isn't accurate, and they need to be accurate when they're especially cutting materials for building. So you can use subtraction to help you out, but it's just a lot easier to start from 0 because you just look where it ends, and that would automatically be it. So we're going to look at these to measure. So we have a little pencil here. It's lined up at the 0, and we want to see about where the tip is. If we go straight down, it's a little past the 2, but we're not going to get into 16ths of an inch. So we'll just go to the closest inch. The pencil is about, that's close to 2 inches. Here we have a ribbon. We line it up at the 0, and we see where the other end, what it's close to, what it lines up next to. It's close to 3. Very, very close to 3. The ribbon is about 3 inches long. You know what? I forgot to change this on here. This should say inches, not centimeters. Sorry about that. And I should probably put long here. All right, let's go ahead and oh, I forgot to look at our weight. We don't want to forget the weight. So weight, we're talking about what you would put on a scale. We have ounces, OZ, pounds, LBS, and capital T for ton. Things that weigh about an ounce, or you would be measured with ounces, would be like a slice of bread, a butterfly, a leaf, a strawberry, a pair of sunglasses. So things that are very, very light, not difficult to pick up at all. This paper clip that we looked at for an inch would definitely be measured in ounces, just like it is with grams. It's the lightweight. A pound benchmark, the things that would be measured in pounds would be like a loaf of bread. So still easy to pick up, but it has a lot more weight than just a slice of bread. A bowling ball we measure in pounds. A student desk, a dog, a person. Those are things that we measure in pounds. Could still be picked up. Even a person could be picked up. But it takes a little more effort than if it's something that you'd measure in ounces. It's pretty easy to pick up. If it takes a little more effort, it would be pounds. And then what would be measured in tons would be like the bread truck. So a slice of bread would be ounces, a loaf of bread would be pounds, and the bread truck would be tons. Other examples would be a helicopter, elephant, house, bulldozer, things you definitely cannot pick up without some mechanical help to lift it. So this should be pretty easy to lift. This would be a little bit more weight to it, but you still should be able to pick it up. Even a person you could pick up, but it would take more effort. And then tons, you can't pick it up at all without some mechanical help. All right, now let's go ahead and look at our 3-column notes.